Hi, I'm Becky Emery. I'm from Brunswick, Ohio. I have a sobriety date of September 8th, 2019. I am a mother, I am a daughter, and I am a friend today. I work in the recovery community, and I'm a peer supporter.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us. We really appreciate it. Could you start off by sharing a little bit about your childhood?
My childhood was chaotic in the beginning. I can call him my biological father today. I wasn't able to say that before. He left when I was 3. I never knew him, and after that, my mother met an alcoholic, and he kidnapped her at one point, and it was just a lot of just degrading. He degraded her a lot, but I don't remember alcohol being in the home. That's one thing I don't remember. I don't even remember him smelling that smell. I just remember the chaos. Yeah, I mean, but I think, I try not to look at the bad I just try not. I'm grateful today. I'm grateful for, I have 2 loving brothers and a loving mother, and I'm grateful for what I have and what she has done. What she has, she raised us really well.
Yeah.
For what she had to deal with. So, I was smoking weed, and that didn't do too much for me, but I did it because I was wanting to be like everyone else. But the alcohol was just, it just made me feel just a part of. It made me feel like I was someone else too, if that makes sense. But I just didn't have to worry about how is Becky going to act, Is she going to look stupid? Is she going to, do something and somebody laugh at her?
Right.
And then that just took off.
Okay. So in your high school years, did you start to experience any consequences?
Yes. So I had all my friends over in the basement because we had a finished basement at that time. And so we were all down there. Well, we were the only 2 drinking, and they carried my friend out and took her home. So her mom's calling, why is my daughter coming home drunk from your house? And my mom comes down because she's baking pies with my aunt upstairs to yell at me. Well, I was totally wasted, and I threw up on her, and it was just great. But so my consequence for that was my first consequence, and I had to sit through Thanksgiving dinner. That wasn't so bad. It was terrible, but I didn't have to eat. But and then in high school, high school started, I started cutting class. I started, when I was 16, I got a car, and I was so excited for this car, but the first night I had it out, my friends and I went out, and the next morning my mom wakes up to check the car. It smelled like beer. There were empty bottles in it, cigarette burns all in it, and I didn't have the car after that for a while. I got arrested. It was just, I ended up in the holding cell of North Olmsted Police Station. I was helping a guy out. He ended up getting a beer bottle smashed over his head at a party, and I'm like, well, I'll take you home because I'm the caretaker, and I'll take you home. And he's like, well, I can't go home. I can't believe I'm going to tell you this. He said, I can't go home. He said, my mom's going to kill me. I'm all bloody. So we ended up skinny dipping in the community pool. And I don't say this very often. And the cops came, and he was able to jump the fence, and I wasn't able to jump the fence because I'm 4'0". And they took me away, and my mom had to pick me up from the police station. My mom was always bailing me out. She would never let me just be.
So in those encounters with the judicial system, at any point did somebody say, hey, there seems to be a common denominator of alcohol involved with these.
My mom had me go talk to a psychiatrist for my drinking. I don't know how old I was, high school years, but I lied. How much do you drink? You know, because I don't have a problem. I didn't have a problem. I'm doing what everyone else does. You know, and I'm doing acid, I'm smoking weed, everyone else is doing it. Why do I have a problem? That's what you do at parties. Why am I, you know, I'm not doing it during the week, I'm just doing it on the weekends. But
I just have bad luck.
Yeah. So yes, she knew a long time before I did.
Gotcha. On that denial of, and when you see everybody around us is doing it, and you have some denial, and no, that can't be me, and whatnot. So, could you talk a little bit about the progression of your disease? How did it continue?
My rock bottom was, and I woke up in the hospital from a coma. I was in and out of the hospital probably a good, I don't know, 6 to 8 times, saying my liver was damaged, you know, my liver was getting bad, you need to stop drinking. And I'm like, whatever, you know, because you don't see it. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Yep.
I have that plaque in my car. But I mean, 2 treatment centers, IOPs, you know, I was in and out. And then my rock bottom was my youngest son. He's 14 now. My ex-husband went to Buffalo for work, and he left me. I guess I started drinking. My memory is really bad at this point, but he left on a Saturday. He called my mom and said, come pick up Connor. Come pick up your son, your grandson. Becky's not feeling well. He'll wait for you outside in the driveway. So my mom didn't like that. Like, what's going on? So she picked up Connor and went back to her house, and then my brother and her came back because she had that motherly instinct, something's wrong. She didn't want to walk in by herself. So my brother and her came in, and they found me. My son saw me like this, and vomit and feces on the floor. And my brother's screaming at me to get up, or he's calling 911. I need to go to the hospital. So I can remember getting up and going into the hospital because I was, you know, I already know what I'm here for. And I said, I'm here for detox. And that's all I remember. But my mom said that my ex-husband called when he was in Ashtabula. So, and then not wanting her to come into the house, I would have been dead. I don't remember, my memory is really bad with it, but I do remember seeing my family around me when I was coherent, and I didn't know where I was, but I knew that I did something again. You know, I did something again. I just thought I'd be better off just dying, you know. I'd be better off, the kids would be better off. I didn't want to feel like this anymore. I didn't know what to do. And I didn't know where to go. Like, I really didn't know, because I tried the avenues before, you know, with getting help, and it didn't work. But at that time I wasn't ready. And I mean, my marriage at the end that's another trauma that I went through that I'm dealing with right now. Is my ex-husband raped me, and I hate him, and it's something that just came to surface not too long ago. I have a new sponsor, and I'm meeting with my counselor that I haven't talked to in a year. I called to see, I know what to do now, but I hate him I hate him. And he would, then looking back, remembering that he would use sex as a weapon, like, just, you want alcohol? You want some of this? Well, you need to do this. You want money? You need to do this. I wanted to go to treatment, but I wanted to go to a treatment center somewhere else. Just get me out of here. I just wanted to go. So they found a treatment center in Florida that for the medically challenged, I was going to say medically compromised. And so I fly down there. My mom went with me. Mind you, my mother needs a hip replacement in the meantime with all of this, and she had to put that off because of me. So we're trying to get our flight. We're going to be late. We almost missed our flight. So this was a funny story. So we're running down the runway, and they're calling our airplane, last call or whatever, and we're running down, and her flip-flops are flying through the air because she can't run with her flip-flops on. So she's wobbling down trying to run, and I'm wobbling down trying to run to Thelma and Louise trying to get there. But so I get down to Florida for treatment, and I go, and they had to take me to the hospital for a checkup that morning, and I was in there for 5 hours. I get back to the treatment center. My bags are packed at the front door. They can't take me. So I'm crying, like I'm pleading for help, and now it wasn't something like, forget it, this is a sign. It was, now what do I do, but it was devastating.
Yeah.
So I came back here, but I said, something was telling me that I needed to come back and face my demons. I got an attorney, and I was done. I'm done. I'm like, I'm doing this. And I walked into his house because everything was in his name. We were married for 22 years. Everything was in his name. Said, I'm filing for divorce. He was shocked, but not shocked. And I gave him everything because I didn't want my kids disrupted. They were already going through enough, and I wanted them to stay in the school system where they're at. My oldest is 21 now, and he was graduating that year, and then my youngest was in the middle school, and so they still live there with him now. But it was just such a good feeling to make my own choices and do it for me.
Absolutely.
And do it not for my kids, not for my parents, not for anybody else, but to do it for me. And that's when I initially started. I'm like, I'm going to be selfish for once in my life. I'm going to be selfish and do it for Becky. I made a bucket list. I haven't done them all yet. I only had a couple things down. I made a bucket list. I wanted to ride a motorcycle. I don't know if that's what you mean, but I rode on the back of a motorcycle, and I now have a boyfriend that has a Harley. So I wanted to ride a horse, and I rode a horse. And my next thing is I want to shoot a gun.
Okay.
So
very cool.
And for training and stuff, but yeah. I'd like to do that. But to find, I really don't know, like, to do for Becky, like, as far as like my recovery aspect of it, what I do for my recovery today, the job I have now, I am such a isolating person, like shy, and I don't know who this person is, to be honest with you, but I love it. I used to be so shy and so isolating, and so, because I was so worried about what everyone was thinking about me. And today, like, I shine. I feel it, Sometimes I hide behind my smile. I do, but at least I can smile, Laughter. That first, I get goosebumps again. That first belly laugh. I hadn't had a belly laugh in so freaking long. That first deep down belly laugh, was amazing. But it's just, I've received life. I've received this is how life should be. And at 40 something years old, I finally have found this is how people live, you know? And it's wonderful.
It is.
That open communication, I just cannot stress enough that open communication, because I was at the end where I was shaking, my hair was falling out, I was orange, I didn't even know what year it was. I didn't know who the president was. For what, you know? I mean, and the only really, I wanted to die, but because I was so sick. And there's help. There's help out there. Don't allow yourself to get to that point where you're so sick that you don't know which way to go.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your just magical life. I mean, it's fantastic. I really appreciate you sharing so openly and honestly with us today. It was absolutely fantastic.